Welcome everybody once again to Cympire Cyber Talks. In this edition, we have with us Peter Heuvelman. I hope I'm spelling your name right. I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Heuvelman, but I don't expect you to spell it right.
Okay, so we have Peter Heuvelman. He's a senior international channel manager, one of our partners in Germany, which is SoSafe. Hello, Peter. How are you today?
Very good, thank you. How are you?
Fine, dealing with the end of the year, keeping ourselves busy.
End of year, running until Christmas, right?
Yeah, and then preparing some exciting plans for next year. That's good. That's good. So, Peter, can you tell us a little bit about SoSafe?
Yeah, so SoSafe is a Cologne-based training provider, and we specialize in cybersecurity, awareness, and data protection. Because 9 out of 10 attacks, it's very prevalent in news nowadays, right? There's not a week that goes by there's not a message of some cyber attack somewhere, and 9 out of 10 attacks actually start with human behavior. So to mitigate that, it's really important to understand what this human layer is really about. And also to have like an engaging way to teach users to actively detect them and to act on them. And one of our managing directors is actually a psychologist. So our solution is also based on psychological triggers in humans regarding like cybersecurity. And that's basically our company slogan as well. It's activate your human firewall.
Oh, that's great. That's quite interesting actually, because most of the let's say flaws when it comes to cyber defense is the human factor, right? Is the readiness of the human element inside the companies. That's interesting. So what does awareness training cover, and can you name some of the benefits of using simulation and gamification in the training?
Yeah. So our solution basically consists out of three elements, 3 pillars, so to say, that also talk to each other. So they're not like separate solutions or anything. It's like one integrated solution. And that's our e-learning platform, the phishing simulation, and strategic monitoring. That's on the back-end side of things, right? So the e-learning, really, we make it engaging and motivating by applying gamification. We work with rewards, for example, to let people come back and achieve something. Like the growth aspect of it, it's really prevalent in human psychology, right? And that really helps getting users to use the platform to start with, but also to stay engaged. We got a 4.7 user rating. That's 4.7 out of 5, by the way, which is really good. And it's also iterative. So for example, when you're a new user and you start using our platform, you don't get all of the videos or the lessons and the interactive lessons that we have, right? We start off with like a small package, so to say, and we throw more against them as time goes by. So it becomes like an iterative learning, and it comes back every time. And it's also branded. So you will, as an employer from a company, you would see like the Aldi solution or the Vattenfall logo in the company colors as well. And it goes as far that the company colors are also like in the videos and interactive learning environments. So that's really cool. And in terms of storytelling, we always use the same characters. So there's Ian, right, who's a little bit of the fool in the story. Like he messes up constantly with like leaving USB sticks everywhere and opening up wrong phishing emails, and Sarah basically cleaning up after him, right? So we there's like a line in those stories which is pretty nice. And then the second part of the solution is really the phishing simulation. So our customers, or the users rather of those customers, they get emails And this is what I personally really find really interesting, because these emails are, that's the psychological part of it as well. They have, for example, a sense of urgency or authority, right? For example, the CEO sends like, can you do this for me quickly? Click this link now. So we use like domain spoofing and techniques like that. And then if the user actually clicks on it, they end up at a landing page from SoSafe, which basically says like, this is a phishing simulation email. So don't worry, you're not in danger. However, next time when you receive an email like this, these are 5 steps this you can take to recognize that this is a phishing email, right? So, and then that ties back to the e-learning solution as well. So there's like a little nice circle there. And then on top of that, we also have the reporting button where people can actively in their email solution report a mail if they think it is smells fishy, so to say. And then of course the dashboard, right, where the IT managers or the CISOs can actively check like, hey, what is the opening rate? Like how many people click on this, and where do we need more focus if it comes to activating the human firewall?
No, that's interesting because
Sorry, quite an extensive story.
No,
there.
it's okay. It's okay. The question was deep enough and extensive enough. It's interesting because I not that long ago I received a phishing email from my CEO. You know, like it was the same feeling. You know, like a sense of urgency. Hey, can you do this for me? I'm in the middle of a meeting and I need you to purchase this and that. And I was like, oh,
yeah. So you had that basically.
Yeah, I had that directly, and because I have both my inboxes, my personal one and my work inbox on the phone, so I couldn't. I just read it early in the morning, and I didn't notice it. So it's true that sometimes when they appeal or they make use of these kind of tricks, it's easy to fall. It's easy to fall in those traps. That's absolutely the case.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. That's the psychology behind it, right?
Yeah, so it's one of the examples that cybercrime has increased exponentially during the pandemic, especially. I mean, I believe I read recently that it has increased 238% or something like that since the pandemic started. Have you experienced a similar growth in terms of the users of your platform?
I would say that cybersecurity was already a very prevalent matter before Corona. You know, but Corona really added on to the sense of insecurity. And of course, remote working is more popular than ever, right? At-home workers, they are kind of like a sitting duck for hackers. So, and of course, when you're like not in your company, and basically what you're just referring to, if you're like in the comfort of the mailboxes, you know, where private and where the lines between private and work are even more vague, then it becomes more easy to kind of like fall for that. And what we've seen as well is like the top 10 subject lines of 2020 is when we have like, for example, like agenda for our meeting next week scores very high, you know, people engaging with that email. But what scores even higher if it says agenda for our Corona meeting next week, then we have like it's more like 25% or something like that. So yeah, the sense of urgency with the word Corona in the phishing emails is actually something that we use in the whole psychology of our phishing demo.
Indeed, and people keep on falling, I guess. I mean, how is the success rate within the platform of the users? I mean, it has to be interesting to see the growth on their, let's call it cyber resilience of the employees of companies when they start experiences this simulation from your emails, and they discover that they have clicked on an email or on a link in an email that they're not supposed to.
Yeah, it's a little bit confronting at first, of course, right? But that's how you learn. I think, you know, you can have the most extensive hardware firewall, and this is always like the things that we can control, we try to control. And I think the human factor in that sense is, you know, human psychology is very hard to tackle. So you really need something that ties into that and really teaches them, like, you know, hackers use that sense of urgency. Hackers use what's in the news. Yeah, so I think that's really cool, actually.
So it's funny because hackers are becoming more advanced in those methods. What will be the trend for the coming year or two in terms of awareness training because of this?
Yeah, so I think phishing is still the most relevant, right? 9 out of 10 attacks are because of the human factor. An example that I always like to use is, it was very, so I'm from the Netherlands, and here in the Netherlands was a big scandal a couple of years ago, and this was still, and it can still happen, but I think it's less relevant right now. It was a police person leaving a USB stick in the taxi somewhere, right? While you were still storing stuff on the USB sticks.
Nice.
And that was a big scandal, right? But it's also like an example of human behavior. So that type of human behavior, and with phishing now with email, is still like 9 out of 10 attacks we see. But we also know that hackers are using AI-based technology and deepfake technology, right, to replicate voices.
Yeah.
So we need to cover these multiple channels, and informing the employees, that's the most important thing, informing the users. So that's where we start. So know that it's out there, know that it's possible, not just take it for granted. But then also we have something coming up if it comes to like the deepfake technology and the AI behind that, basically. But for that, it's really nice, I think, to actually to follow our channels online. You know, you can find us at SoSafe.com, but also on LinkedIn. And there will be something that's coming up regarding the technology, the deepfake technology, and that's a new add-on to our product. So stay tuned for that.
Oh, that's really interesting. It's the evolution of social engineering, right? It's using deepfake technology and all these artificial intelligence tools that are now available there, just to help them. I mean, it's a quite interesting topic to cover. So
yeah, that's why we do it.
Yeah, indeed. That's why we're all here, just to try to avoid
you
that.
too, right?
Yeah,
same thing.
Yeah, same thing. We're covering more the side of cybersecurity responders. We take care of giving them the tools to train on a continuous base training on our platform. And yeah, I mean that's what we're here for, just to prevent these things to happen and to make people more aware.
Try to halt these hackers.
Yeah, cyber criminals.
Exactly. Yeah.
So Peter, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for sharing your time with us and for sharing your
Likewise,
knowledge.
thanks for having me.
It's always a pleasure. I'm sure we can have you back real soon. Thanks
Of course.
once more and have a lovely day.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.